It really just doesn't feel like nobody knows what the fuck is going on when it comes to Collision because ever since Punk has left, this show has just been. It's just not. There's nothing to care about as far as Collision goes, honestly. You have one main important thing to watch on this show, and the rest of it is just thrown together shit. It's like throwing darts at a dartboard and hoping to get a bullseye with some of the shit that is put on Collision. And then this show just, again, another not good episode of Collision. Sure, there was some great wrestling, but there's just a lot of stuff that just doesn't make any sense whatsoever. There's three keys to have a good wrestling show: great promos slash talking segments, great wrestling, and good stories. And to me, it just does. There's nothing. There's nothing except for some good wrestling, and then the stories that they are trying to tell just doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. So yeah, another subpar average show for Collision, and we're gonna talk about it right now. So show kicks off with Swerve and AR Fox fighting backstage, and they cut to the pyro, and Fox and Swerve are fighting on the ramp on their way to the ring for their match. For what it's worth, they did have a good match. Um, because these two go way back to Lucha Underground. I feel like a lot of people who watch everything like me should know that they have a lot of history together going back to Lucha Underground and even before Lucha Underground. But that three stages, I forgot what they called it, but they had this three stages of hell type match in Lucha Underground that they had, and holy fuck. Till this day, I think that is the greatest hardcore type of it was just insane. Completely insane. If you can find a way to watch that, I would 1000% recommend. But when it comes to this, it's just so Swerve turned on Fox 3 weeks after they had joined together, and there really hasn't been any follow up on Swerve turning on Fox. We haven't seen them interact on TV. Hardly ever. There was no follow up. Something like that, you should have a follow up and a build and a feud to a match. But no, we see Fox go to Darby Allin and apologize and hoping that they can be cool again. Which, that's another thing. We haven't, to my knowledge, there hasn't been any interactions between Fox and Darby since. If Fox and Darby are cool, shouldn't they, I don't know, do stuff together? And Fox and Swerve should have had at least not even a long feud, but something. This has been since 2 weeks after All In was the last time we saw Swerve and Fox interact. I just felt like this match happened way too late. This should have happened earlier, and there should have been some kind of feud to it because they just immediately start with a jump start fighting backstage when this should have happened weeks ago, if not at least a month ago. This should have been something because Fox is really good, and they were building him up a little bit until he turned on Darby and joined with Swerve, and then Swerve turned on him 3 weeks later. They were doing something with Fox, but I don't know if he was just injured, and that's why we haven't seen any follow up on that turn or any follow up with him and Darby anymore. I don't know. I just thought this was too little too late. This should have happened a while ago. And it was just a match to put over Swerve, which is fine. You can do that, but again, this should have happened way earlier because probably most fans forgot. Most casual fans forgot, and they probably tuned into this and be like, "Oh wait, didn't that guy turn on that guy like a month ago, like a month and a half ago, and they're now just fighting?" I don't know. Too little, too late. But like I said, for what it was a good match. After the match, Fox gets surrounded by the Gates of Agony. FTR come out to make the save. Starks and Bill come out, and so does LFI. And the heel teams run off. LFI does not shake hands with FTR, and the House of Black are shown watching in the audience. And we'll talk about this in a second. Well, towards the end of the show. You know what? No, I'm just gonna talk about it right now. So we are shown House of Black in the audience at the beginning of the show. And then in that main event, after the main event was over, we see them in a doing a video thing on the wall, a video promo on the wall, on the video screen. What? If FTR knows that they're in the audience, why would they think that they're like doing something like in the video screen? They should know that they're in the audience, like they're there in the building somewhere. And I just thought that made FTR look stupid. But we'll talk about that later in the show. Then we get a MJF and Daniel Garcia video package because they're having a match on Wednesday for the championship. What? Now they said because Garcia had a match on Rampage and he won, and then he called out MJF for a title match, and MJF accepts. Huh? What? So it's just another guy that MJF has to deal with for no reason. So you can just win a random match on I don't even know who he wrestled. Garcia does. 'Cause they don't give me a reason to pay attention to Rampage. But I just don't care to watch Rampage. So Garcia has a match on a Rampage and just calls out MJF for a title shot, and they just give it to Garcia? What? When was the last time we seen Garcia on TV, like on Dynamite or Collision? When he's, I'm sorry, when he's not doing that dance that he does. I like the dance. I like that. I'm not gonna call it stupid, but like, when was the last time we seen Garcia do something important on TV? And he wins a match on Rampage, and he calls out for it, and he wants a championship match. And I guess we get championship matches. I hate that so much. It makes the championship not seem important when you're just defending the title against anybody. Not only that, but also MJF is involved with so many different people already. He's involved with Garcia now, the Acclaimed, Wardlow, Joe. Who else is he involved with? Jay White, the guy he's defending the title against at Full Gear. He didn't even come first on the list. He didn't even come first on my mind when I'm listing all these people. That's a problem. He also is dealing stuff with the Guns because he's defending his Ring of Honor championship against the Guns at Full Gear. What is going on? And now he's having defending the title against Garcia on Wednesday for a belt that he doesn't even have in his possession. It's stupid. I don't think having just random championship matches is good or beneficial in any way other than just another name for MJF to beat. And it would have been different if there was some kind of build up, or we have seen Garcia do stuff on TV that wasn't goofy, because he's still hanging around with Matt Menard and Angelo Parker and Hager, those four kind of stayed together of the Jericho Appreciation Society. What are we doing? Why is this happening? Full Gear is what, November 18th? That's next weekend. And he's defending the title against Daniel Garcia. And I like Daniel Garcia. I think he's really good in the ring. But to me, it just feels like he's defending the title. I guess somebody who's not currently important to the current AEW television. Because we haven't seen him. I don't understand this. I don't know why it's happening. Again, I think it's stupid. Just to have random. And this goes for all promotions. Impact does it too. WWE does it too. Alex Shelley's defending the Impact Championship against Jonathan Gresham on an upcoming episode. I don't know if it's this week or next week. It's one of these 2 weeks. But for what? What has Jonathan Gresham done to earn a Impact World Championship? What has Daniel Garcia done to earn an AEW World? This is the most prestigious championship in that company that MJF currently has. And Garcia beats somebody on. Hold on, let me. Who did he wrestle? I'm about to look that shit up right now. Because he had to have beaten like Omega or something for him to want a fucking world championship match. Because it's just, to me, it just doesn't make sense. I hate this stuff in wrestling. Treat your championships like they are prestigious and worthy, and have proper builds to championship matches. Same thing with Omega the other week, right? Omega, they had this whole MJF thing happen. And yes, there is some kind of story to it because Omega wants to defend his streak. Okay, that's fine. But to literally bring this up a week before, actually it was literally last Wednesday. Omega challenged MJF, and then we got the match Saturday. 3 days. This could have been something. This could have been something for a pay-per-view. Omega and MJF, but they gave it away on Collision. Well, this could have been a pay-per-view. Or you could have did this for like a special episode of Dynamite, like a Winter is Coming or something like that. Okay, so I found it. Garcia beat Trent Beretta. So apparently beating Trent Beretta, a primarily tag team guy who gets beat all the time, warrants you the balls to want to have a AEW World Championship match. Stupid. Anyways, so MJF basically just says that he's the pinnacle of wrestling and Jay White is a nobody. Then we see Bullet Club Gold backstage singing Jay White pinned MJF over and over again. Jay says that they're going to go on vacation from Collision this week, and Jay is going to have an eliminator match against Mark Briscoe. For what? Now I know that later Briscoe kind of explained it a bit better, but again, for what? For what? Why are these guys having matches against other people instead of trying to increase this build for their match for Full Gear? This is a pay-per-view. And White is wrestling Mark Briscoe, who has fuck all to do with Jay White at the moment. And MJF is defending his championship against Daniel Garcia, who also has fuck all to do with MJF and Jay White. Like, why? Why are these things happening? It doesn't make any sense to me. If somebody could explain it to me in the comments, I would gladly read and try to understand what the fuck is going on here. Because it doesn't make sense to me. Then we have Kip Sabian. He says he's pissed off that Mark Briscoe attacked him last week on Rampage. And then and then Sabian just forms a random group with the Workhorsemen. Why? Your guess is best as mine. We've seen Sabian with so many different trios in the past. He's literally just hopping trio to trio to trio in his career. I don't know why this has happened. For what? They don't even. That doesn't even make sense. Him and the Butcher and Blade didn't even make sense. Yeah, they kind of looked cool together, but what does the Workhorseman and Kip Sabian have to do with each other? Other than we're a group now. What? So they challenged Mark Briscoe to find 2 tag partners for a 6-man tag team match tonight because Kip Sabian wants revenge on Mark Briscoe. The Kingdom come out with Roderick Strong. Says the fans are tired. Oh, I'm sorry. He says that the fans are tired of him, and he's tired of the fans are not taking the Kingdom and Roderick Strong seriously. Gee, I wonder why the fans are not taking you guys seriously when you guys are constantly doing stupid comedy videos on, and some of it is funny, but they've really drawn this stuff out. It's every week with this stuff. Every week. It's one thing to do it a week here, a week there, or every other week, but they literally do it every week, and sometimes twice a show. It's funny, but when you overdo it, it's not funny. And it sucks because I think the Kingdom could be a top tag team in AEW, but they're doing this shit with Roderick Strong. Yeah, the whole Adam stuff was funny at one point, but now it's just getting redundant and repetitive and lame. And Roderick is still doing this neck thing, which is so stupid because everybody knows that he's not hurt anymore. This guy, he probably was never hurt. Why is he still doing this stuff? Adam Cole is not going to be on TV, physically on TV, for a long time. What is the whole point of him still doing this stuff? And what didn't he say the other week that his goal was to make MJF like him also? And then he did that shit last week coming out, says, "Oh, you can pick us." Why would he? So the Kingdom just beat a random jobber team, put the Kingdom over. And then Roddy jumps out of his wheelchair, beats up the jobbers, and then runs back to his wheelchair saying his neck is hurting. It's stupid. It's dumb. And again, we see another squash match on Collision. What is the point of having all these people on your roster and you're constantly having at least 2 to 3 squash matches on your show every week on Collision? Doesn't make any sense to me. Then we get a Christian Cage hype video package, putting Christian over, which is fine. Then we get Mark Briscoe backstage. He's asked if he has found any tag team partners, and FTR coming to frame says they'll pull double duty, and they'll be Mark's partner. And Briscoe pretty much just nicely declines and says he's found 2 partners. Next, we had Lance Archer versus Darby Allin, and Jake Roberts is back. No, I like Jake Roberts a lot, but this guy is inconsistent when it comes to his TV time. He's there and he's not there. He's there and he's not there. So I don't know if it's necessarily good to have him back. And hopefully he's healthy, and hopefully he can be there every week. But that track record is not good. So Darby hits a really probably one of the best bullet dives he's done in a while on Archer, and then Archer chokeslams Darby onto the ring apron, which looked fucking insanely awful and painful. So I don't know how Darby does this shit. I don't even know how he's wrestling with that broken arm and that shit he's doing on Nitro Circus. That guy's a freak animal. Roberts is ejected from ringside because he's trying to hit Darby with his skateboard, but the ref catches him and ejects him from ringside. Darby hits a second rope code red for the win. Darby Allin beats Lance Archer. Again, we haven't seen Lance in forever. He's been doing stuff in New Japan. We saw him a few weeks ago on that show where Sting announced that he's gonna retire next year, and he had a squash match. We haven't seen him until now, and then he does dominate during the match. Darby got very little offense in, and then Darby just beats him with a second row code red. I don't know. Match was fun. It did make Lance look strong. But how strong if he gets beat by a guy the size of Darby? And I like Darby, so I don't know. I don't know what the point of this was. I really don't. Because after Roberts comes back out on the stage and he introduces the Righteous, apparently they're a group now. The Righteous and Lance Archer and Jake Roberts, they're a group now. And Archer attacks Darby from behind, beat him up, and then that's that. I'm about to crucify this shit. So Darby Allin is in the middle of a feud with Sting and Edge against Christian, Luchasaurus, and Nick Wayne. And now he has to deal with Archer, the Righteous, and Jake Roberts now. Now he's feuding with them. What is this? Why did this happen? Darby can't be involved with Cage, Luchasaurus, and Nick Wayne, and now he's being involved with Archer, Roberts, and the Righteous. For what? Why is this happening? Are we gonna see Roberts, Archer, the Righteous, Christian, Luchasaurus, and Nick Wayne versus Sting, Edge, and Darby now? Like what is going on? Or is just Darby only having feuds on Dynamite Collision? He's just gonna have two separate feuds going on each show? That can't happen because we've seen the Christian stuff on Collision also. What is happening? Why is this happening? If you want to establish Archer and the Righteous and Roberts together, do it with somebody else. Not with a guy who's already occupied with another major storyline going on TV. This was stupid. Next, we get a backstage promo between Chris Statlander, Sky Blue, and Willow Nightingale. Chris says that she owes Sky a thank you because she thought that Sky was going to do the wrong thing last week and spray Willow, but she didn't, so she wants to give Sky a thank you, and Sky says she doesn't need her thank you. She only cares about Willow Nightingale, and that was it. Okay, so my theory is Sky and Willow are going to become evil, I guess, because it was interesting that Sky did miss Julia, unless it was just a mislead for something later. And it is interesting that Sky said that she only did it for Willow. Is Willow and Sky going to be an evil women's tag team or evil associates or something? I'm interested. I'm actually interested in this and where they're going to go. I'm very curious. This was good. We get another thing that I thought was stupid. Alex Abrahantes is backstage, and he gets interrupted by Swerve. Alex brings up what Swerve did to Hangman and his family the other week by breaking into his house and taunting his child in the crib. And, and Alex says the one thing Penta loves more than Lucha is family. And for that reason alone, we're getting Penta versus Swerve next week on Dynamite. So if the only thing that Penta loves more than Lucha is family, why is Penta defending Hangman Page? Is Penta and Hangman related or something, and I just never fucking knew about it? Or is he implying that Penta doesn't like when family gets messed with by other people that doesn't involve him or something? Why? This was so dumb and lame just to get to another random match on Dynamite. Didn't make any sense. Again, don't know why this is happening. Then the Acclaim come out to celebrate 69 days as Trios champions, and man, I really hate to say this, but these segments where the Acclaim just come out and just talk forever is getting kind of old. I mean, this was a long segment that led to like a 10-minute match. So, they're celebrating 69 days as champion, and they made this thing such a redundant, ridiculous big deal because it's 69. I've never seen anybody celebrate their championship reign like this. Roman Reigns celebrated like his whole thing of breaking 1,000 days wasn't even like this. There was no confetti or anything like this. The whole purpose of doing this was just to get a laugh because it was 69 days and it just so happened to be on a Saturday for Collision. Bowen says he has a gift for Caster, and MJF is on the video wall, and he says that he's starting to like the Acclaimed. So that advances, the MJF and Caster thing, which is fine. And MJF says, "Yay, scissoring," which I thought was funny. And then they talk about, and they show ringside is a trophy that has 69 on it. It's a 69 trophy. Wow, Roman didn't get a trophy for his 1,000 days, but they get a trophy for 69 days. Dalton Castle and the boys come out, and they break the 69 trophy, and it leads to their match together. I don't think Dalton Castle and the boys should be heels. This is a very heel thing to do. I just don't think with what Dalton Castle's character is should be heel worthy. Although I guess it could work, possibly. But I don't know. And I also feel like the Dalton Castle and the boys versus the Acclaimed could be a very fun, entertaining, goofy feud. This could have been a good lengthy feud between these three. Like I could see all 6 of these guys having funny, entertaining segments together for for weeks to lead up to a match, but instead we got it here on Collision right then and there. No build, no nothing, other than the Castle breaking the 69 trophy. And as soon as the match starts, they go to commercial within like 30 seconds when the match starts. And then when they come back from commercial, literally like a minute later, the match is over. So most of this match was during commercial, picture in picture. So they did all that long segment, and then Castle breaks the trophy, and most of the matches during picture in picture. Why? I'm asking myself why so many times during this show. The Acclaim to win, by the way. Then we see Andrade backstage, and he's asked about CJ's offer again. He was asked the same question last week, and Andrade says again, like he said last week, that whatever him and CJ's business are is between them and only them. Okay. And then watch this, guys. He then immediately says he'll give his answer to CJ next week. So if their business is between them and them only, they better not show them on TV ever again. Ever. Because the second we see them on TV, I'm like, oh, well, guess it's our business now to know that they are in cahoots together. She is managing Andrade. Or, I swear, or I'm going to laugh so hard if they do a segment next week where we see CJ and Andrade agreeing to be partners or something like that. And I'm be like, well, I guess it's our business now because it's on our TV screens. Jesus. Then we get Kip Sabian and the Workhorsemen versus Mark Briscoe and his tag team partners, Dustin Rhodes and Keith Lee. Keith Lee, man. Who would have fucking thunk it? That this guy, I know he's had a lot of health issues, etc., over the course of his run, but like, man, this guy is probably the most fumbled guy on this bloated roster. This guy has done nothing of importance besides his tag title run with Swerve. And we didn't even get any follow-up on that heel turn ever. They had a match against each other, but that was like months after the turn. So, I don't know, man. I like Keith Lee a lot. I think he's very good. But he hasn't done anything of importance. And then I think the last time he returned, he started doing tag team matches with Dustin Rhodes. Like, what? The booking is so bad. Oh. So, the match was basically a squash match. Sabian and the Workhorsemen got very little offense in, and the match didn't even last like 5 minutes. So, Briscoe, Keith Lee, and Dustin Rhodes win. Great. Then we get Mark Briscoe backstage after the match. He says he wants gold, and he says that Jay White's walking around with gold that doesn't belong to him, and he wants a match against him and his opportunity at Full Gear. Jeez, shouldn't this been a promo? Shouldn't what he said in the promo be something that MJF said? Hey, you're holding gold that's not yours. Give me it back. What does Mark Briscoe have to do with Jay White currently? What is this? Briscoe just decides, oh, hey, Jay White's walking around with a gold that's not his. It's not yours either. So why does Briscoe have an issue with like what? Briscoe has been off TV for months because of injury, and he comes back and he goes, "Oh, I see people walking around with gold that's not his, so I want a match against that guy that I have nothing to do with, and I want his opportunity at Full Gear. If I beat him, what?" Just like I said earlier, what in God's name does Mark Briscoe and Daniel Garcia have anything to do with MJF and Jay White 2 weeks before their pay-per-view match against each other. Why is this happening? And I like Mark Briscoe. I do, but why? Then we get Emi Sakura versus Willow Nightingale. Um, just a match for the show, I guess, in the women's division. I would have been okay with this if they had rankings and stuff because it's just a random match for no stakes, just a match to put on TV. And they had a good match. Not gonna lie, I enjoyed it. Willow is very good. She puts on good matches, and Emi's okay. She's okay. But I thought they did have a good match. There was some anticipation towards the end of the match with the crowd when Willow hit that power bomb, pinned her. Nothing much else to talk about. We see Samoa Joe backstage, and Lexi Nair says that he is the longest reigning Ring of Honor TV champion of all time. He says that he has not heard back from MJF and his offer. And then Keith Lee walks in a frame and says that Samoa Joe hasn't beaten everybody for that title. So that sets up a match between Samoa Joe and Keith Lee for Dynamite this Wednesday. Again, a match that could, oh my god, could we please get feuds before championship matches? It just seems like every championship is just a open challenge championship nowadays. These two guys right here could have a good feud together. Good promo back and forth together. Good segments together. And I'm pretty sure the match Wednesday is going to be pretty good. But why now? For what? No build. No anticipation. No feud. Keith Lee just walks in the front. Oh, you haven't beat me, pal. So I deserve a Ring of Honor TV championship. A title that does not belong to AEW. They're owned by the same people. I don't know, man. I'm sick of seeing Ring of Honor stuff on TV. And no wonder Ring of Honor can't get a fucking TV deal because their TV show is fucking dark match after dark match after dark match. If you put Keith Lee and a Samoa Joe feud on Ring of Honor television, build that shit up for a good length, put it on a pay-per-view, it would be very beneficial to Ring of Honor TV, but instead we have to see it on AEW TV. But I don't know, man. I'm actually excited for the match because I know the match will be good, but there's literally no feud here whatsoever. Just another open challenge-esque vibe and another random championship match on AEW TV. A championship that does not currently belong to the AEW brand. Good God, man. Next, we had Ricky Starks, Big Bill, the Gates of Agony versus FTR and LFI's Roosh and Preston Vance. Now, I may have missed something here, but why the fuck are the Gates of Agony in this match? Did I miss something? Were they involved in that whole thing? That on one of the collisions? Right? Wasn't it Big Bill, Ricky, FTR, and the House of Black? And then LFI made the save? Where did the Gates of Agony come from? They have nothing to do with this current storyline between the four teams. They have nothing to do with the Blackpool Combat Club. They have nothing to do with the FTR. They have nothing to do with the House of Black. And they have nothing to do with La Faction Ingobernables. The Gates of Agony are currently in a storyline with the Elite, along with Swerve and Hangman. Why are the Gates of Agony in this match? Just so they can get beat? How does that benefit them? To be put in a match that they have zero business being a part of. They have zero business to be a part of storyline wise or logically wise. They just won back their ROH 6-man tag titles, and then they get beat in a match that they had no business being in. Makes no fucking sense. Why book a match if you couldn't just book the Blackpool Combat Club, FTR, LFI? Oh my god. I just realized there are 5 teams or 5 groups involved in a storyline together. We have FTR, LFI, Starks and Big Bill, the Blackpool Combat Club, and House of Black all feuding against each other right now. And then they just throw in the Gates of Agony for no fucking reason whatsoever. What the fuck is going on? Nothing on this show made a lick of fucking sense whatsoever. I don't get it, man, and I really hope Collision can get better. Collision is just not a good show, man. It's just not. You get some good wrestling matches, but like nothing storyline wise makes any fucking sense. I think the only thing storyline wise that they did to advance storylines is MJF saying that he thinks he's starting to like the Acclaimed, and then the Chris Statlander, Willow, and Sky Blue segment. That's fucking it. I just don't get it. I don't understand any of this shit. Collision is just not watchable because I feel fucking insulted watching the show because I'm literally trying everything in my brain to put things together and it just doesn't make any fucking sense. I don't know, man. That was a Collision review. Hope you guys liked it. Hope you enjoyed it. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Like, subscribe, notification bell. Follow me on all social medias. Follow my Kick. I stream video games on Kick. If you guys want to come chat wrestling or whatever, I'll be there. And that's going to do it for this Collision review. What a awful show Collision was. I'll see you guys tomorrow morning for Monday Night Raw. Peace.